everybody, I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together, we are Pajamas. And we are continuing on through Season 4 of Doctor Who. Last time we were in Pompeii.
Yes.
It was a very interesting turn of events there.
Yes.
With some foreshadowing. Some stuff looming on the horizon. A dark cloud may be encroaching in the distance onto the pleasantries of my Doctor Whodom.
I like what you did with the episode.
What do you mean?
Well, with Mount Vesuvius, the volcano, and it's blowing the dark cloud into the air.
I totally meant to do that. So yeah, go me. So we are venturing into episode 3. I have no idea what to expect, but let's just fire up the engines and find out. No disclaimers. It's rather comfortable right now. Yay, autumn.
Yes, we already know where it's always winter and always summer, but where is it always autumn? I really like to know.
I would take always winter over always summer. Like I would have no problem living in northern Canada, but that's not what this is about. This is about episode 3. So without further ado, let's get into it.
All with one purpose.
Do you take milk and sugar?
To serve.
I like it, sir.
The file is irrelevant, sir.
Oh, and why is that?
Welcome back, Ood.
Yes, as long as we don't have to deal with marker face. This is not some ground I thought we'd be treading again.
That's more like it. Lovely. What do you think?
You're cold.
Look at that view.
She brought like 75 suitcases.
Takeaway dinners, birthdays,
Give me a coat in one of them.
Christmases. Donna?
Sorry, you were
Yes.
saying
Yep.
Better?
Now that's what I call a spaceship. You've got a box. He's got a Ferrari. Come on, let's see where he's going. He sang as he was dying.
His eyes turned red.
What's that mean?
Trouble.
Must have fallen off my list. My apologies. Won't happen again. Now then, Dr. Noble, Mrs. Noble, if you'd like to come with me. How are you, Ood?
All the better for seeing you.
And the comedy classic option, Ood, you dropped something.
I do not understand, miss.
Why are you saying miss? Do I look single? Servants. They're slaves.
Get up!
Boy, I haven't got slaves.
You think made your clothes?
Is that why you travel around with a human inside?
The circle must be broken.
It's creepy.
Of course they know.
They know how you treat the Ood.
They don't ask. Same thing.
Talana, the Ood aren't born like this. They can't be.
Why now? What's changed?
It's the song of captivity.
Let me hear it. Take it away. Is that?
It's a brain.
And all that time looking for you, Doctor, because I thought it'd be so wonderful out here. I want to go home.
Throw me in a cage! Well, you're too late. Ha!
Why don't you just come out?
Don't you see? That makes them peaceful. They've got to, because a creature like that would have to trust anyone it meets.
You're gonna gas them.
Kill the livestock. The classic foot and mouth solution from the olden days.
Go, join your people, while you still can.
You must have met Houdini.
These are really good handcuffs.
Well, I'm glad of that. The circle must...
Doctor, Donna, friend.
Yes, that's us.
That's me, friends.
The Ood brain. Now it all makes sense.
Circle must be broken.
Stopping the Ood from connecting for 200 years.
My place is at your side, sir.
Still subservient.
You should never give me access to the controls, Mr. Halpin. I lowered the barrier to its minimum. Friends of the Ood, sir.
Murdered him.
Very observant, Ginger.
Revenge came out in the rabbit Ood as anger, and then there was patience.
Ethan Ood.
I noticed.
It's weird being with you. I can't tell what's right and what's wrong anymore.
It's better that way. The rockets are bringing them back. The Ood are coming home.
I think your song must end soon. Our children will sing of the Dr. Donner, and the wind and the ice and the snow will carry your names forever.
That was sweet.
Yes, it was.
I like that. Got a little verklempt at the end. I was like, oh.
And a bit ominous.
Yes, we have another.
A sort of foreshadow.
Yeah, we had one in season 1 with with our first Doctor. No, not the end of 10. Oh no, please no.
It was actually also a very interesting way of ending it. Actually, I wouldn't have left. I would have wanted to actually talk to the Ood about what they meant by that. Instead of saying, well, goodbye, I'm going to find out for myself.
Right.
I'd like to know what exactly was meant by that because, well, yes, what they said was true, that all songs eventually end.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have wanted to know, and what makes you say that now as I'm about to leave?
I think your song must end soon. It was nice to have an episode that was like in the beginning when the Doctor's all, it's on random. And Donna's all happy, and then he's all smiling at her. It's like, that's what I wanted. She's excited. You know, her excitement is infectious. So he's excited. He had the biggest grin on his face because this is what he wanted. This is what I wanted. I mean, granted, I wasn't expecting like such a meaningful story, which I'm not complaining. But as far as adventuring goes, this feels fun. The Doctor's having fun. Donna's having fun. It's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. So for everyone out there who's been getting on my case, this is all I wanted. He didn't flirt with the tour guide lady. So go. Yeah, episode where the Doctor's not flirting with somebody.
Yes, I actually felt a little bad for her because, well, she was only doing her job and, well, she ended up dead, but she at least helped a little of where the Doctor was supposed to go.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't feel as bad for her as you did. I don't think just because you're doing your job means that you are absolved of any.
Oh, well, yes. This episode did have some lingering Showa, Holocaust, World War II implications.
Oh yeah.
And, well, yes, then I said that she's only doing her job, but then I could say to myself, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. When you said that, I was like, given your background and belief structure, you might want to rethink that.
Yes, that shouldn't be an excuse for, well, it may be an excuse for petty little things, but for gathering a huge species and then
subjugating them.
Yes.
God, like how awful is that? Like they took their brains, lobotomized them.
Which then reminded me of the human experimentation.
Yeah. And then, turn them into translators. Like, that's awful. It's also well written in this respect that when it started, I was like, oh no, the Ood, which I've only had one bit of exposure, and that was the Satan episodes.
Yes, well, you didn't have to worry about someone drawing all over their face.
Well, when they said the circle must be broken, I was so afraid there was also going to be like another pit in the ground, like a circle, and it must be broken. I was like, oh, yes, please. Like, I like what we got much better. So for a little while there, I was a little like,
No, it wasn't the Dark Lord. It was the hive mind.
Yeah, exactly. The mother brain. Putting mother, father brain, whatever. The big brain. So, yeah, it's another pretty heavy episode. That was pretty...
Yes.
If you can take an element from a two-parter that I did not like, and by the end of this, make me care about the elements from that episode, or from those episodes, rather, that's pretty good writing. Pretty good.
It helped to, for lack of a better term, it actually helped to humanize the Ood.
Well, it made them relatable.
Yes, that's the word that I was trying
Yeah.
to think of.
Yeah, definitely. Because we have stuff on our own history and our own experience that we can correlate, as we talked about, we referenced it already, to taking a group of people and enslaving them, imprisoning them,
And even
and treating them like livestock.
and of course the
Which-
extremely ominous part when they were going to gas them to death.
Yes, exactly.
That immediately made me think, all right, they're referencing something here.
And for anyone that thinks livestock means animal, livestock is just something that is stock that is alive. It can be people. And it was at one point in time.
Another reference to history, the slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
When they were putting them in boxes, it was like putting them in the ships and
Yep.
then sending them to different areas of the world.
That's the first thing that I picked up on. And I think obviously Donna did too, because she was like, they're essentially slaves. And the whole idea of born to serve. Then you find out what happened to them, and then
Yes, it turns out that it wasn't with their consent. They
Yeah.
aren't overly altruistic. It's because they have had their will taken away from them via a lobotomy.
Yeah. And imagine being like the main brain. I call it the mother brain. And your connection to your other species, to your children or whatever, is dampened. And you have to watch as, for lack of a better term, your children are disconnected and reprogrammed. So their song is silenced.
Yes, like a parent, I would be extremely upset
Yeah.
and would want to do something about that.
And the whole time we're thinking that Red Eyes equal evil. Red Eyes just equaled revolt. I think it played really well on our concept of good and evil, and something that has red eyes and supposed to be all evil, but no. They were simply fighting back.
Yes, with red not meaning evil or so much anger, but red as in blood, revolution.
I would say it is anger, but not so much evil, though.
It was a very sobering episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Very powerful.
Shall we go to your notes?
Oh, if you want to.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to my notes.
Philip's notes.
So we start with the Ood. As I said before, I was a little trepidatious. I was like, okay. But they were represented much better. Much better in this episode. I wrote, when their eyes are going red, because, again, as we just talked about, do Ood still worship Satan? Because, again, that's like what we've been brainwashed and taught to believe is red eyes, evil, red, evil. And if your eyes just suddenly turn red, I think something was like possessing you, and I would be like, please stop. No. So initially, my initial fear was like, oh no, here we go again. But luckily, it was something far better. I think Donna said something to the effect of, what's wrong with it? And the doctor says, Donna, not now. It's a he, not an it. There you go. Much like livestock, when you take away the it factor and assign, a more personal, appropriate.
I would have liked to know how he could tell if it was a he or she.
I'm assuming that that's why I call it mother brain. I'm assuming the brain is the female.
That actually is probably the case.
But I could be wrong. Like, obviously, what we know of the Ood lore is just the last 2 times we've seen them.
Yes,
Well, technically 3, but last 2 major times.
we are only beginning to know how they think.
Right.
We still aren't exactly sure where they come from.
Again, we have a Dr. and Mrs. Noble. We're not married. I do appreciate that since Donna is an older woman, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible, that they confuse them for a married couple constantly, because it looks like they would be a married couple, as opposed to the youngins that were gallivanting around with them. Also interesting, in 2008, in the news where the bees were disappearing, that was recent here. Keep an eye on the news, y'all, and watch how it's cyclical. Watch how it goes, like, there's a cycle to it. Pretty soon we'll be talking about a deadly virus in Africa that's going to come over here and kill us all, and that's going to disappear after a week until the next thing is used to distract you. Conspiracy! I know we're only 3 episodes in, but for me, Donna is this season's conscience. She kind of saw it with the doctor in episode 1 with the children because he didn't kill them. You know, she's like, oh, you've grown. The last episode, she wanted to save Pompeii.
Yes.
And then this one, she was horrified at what she saw. And the doctor had to come to terms with that he didn't pay attention enough to notice what might have been really going on. He accepted their servitude as just base what he was told.
Well, yes. Like, for example, centuries ago, if people were to see that, they would have not given it a second thought.
Yeah.
Because that was as much a part of life as the sky is blue,
Yeah.
the grass is green.
Oftentimes,
So what?
yeah. Oftentimes when I have a friendly conversation / debate with someone, I get the phrase, this is just how things are. Which I think is a very dangerous thing to say. Because if you take that phrase and go to any point in time, okay.
Well, yes, they could say the same thing. Things that would be considered barbaric or inhumane, well, things were very different at that time, and they would have simply have very likely said to anyone complaining about it, well, that's simply the way things are.
Exactly, yeah. So if you ever feel the need to say that to somebody, stop and think about it. Because what you're saying isn't really absolving you as much as you think. It's actually implicating you in a not pleasant light.
It's actually more of an observation than an explanation, actually. It's simply the way things are. Well, yes, and that's the issue. That's the reason why we're having this discussion in the first place.
Exactly. People think that's just like, that's my magical get out of jail free card. There's just the way things are. And?
Yes, that's the point. I'm going to make a statement, and I have now made it. Yes.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
And
that was so sad that, you know, they said the circle must be broken so we can sing. I was like, oh.
That is sweet.
It was, yeah. But then we learned that the song was a song of captivity that we're singing. Not now, obviously. It's a song of freedom, or what they once were 200 years before. But at the time, it was a song of captivity, which then, you know, Donna wanted to hear it, and then she heard it, and she's like, take it away. And, you know, she's the conscience of the show. And I really like that.
Yes, she really made a very good point when she said, well, when she noticed that people have branched out, and, well, humanity is still humanity.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it took not only this sense of wonder and adventure, but everything else that comes with it.
Like, if a species like the Ood came to Earth, I would not be surprised if they were enslaved within 10 years. Because we're a horrible species. We're an arrogant, awful species.
Is it a virus? It's best not to think about it.
Right, yeah.
Like what he said in the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Then we had the line where Donna says, I thought coming with you was going to be fun and adventurous. I want to go home.
And, well, yes.
Yeah.
Because eventually the dominant species evolved and then branched out to other galaxies. And, well, it took its humanity with it, both the potential positives and negatives with it.
I just, I really like her. I like the emotional connection she brings, like the empathy that she brings to the season. I think the Doctor and Donna's relationship really kind of mirrors ours. You're more literal and analytical. I'm more, I won't say emotional, but, you know, I'm more empathetic.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
I like the word that you used, that she's basically his conscience. She's the conscience that is speaking out loud.
Yeah, exactly. Like what he didn't think to realize, she realized. You know, that kind of thing.
Because like people of the past, people simply took things for granted.
Yeah.
They were too busy thinking about their own problems, let alone somebody else's problems.
Welcome to the world now. Yeah. Not going to go on a rant. I promise I won't. And then I thought it was very interesting that what was once their brain was lobotomized, turned into like this translator, but then they turned it into a weapon. And it was electrical. The mother brain was surrounded by a field of electricity. But also the brain is a conductor. So I'm like, was at the mother brain coming through that to kill people with like an electric shock.
Very clever.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very interesting to turn what was once very sacred to them into a weapon. At first I thought, well, I didn't think the boss guy was turning into a good guy or turning face in a wrestling term. But I thought he told Ood Sigma to go join your people while you still can. I was like, that was nice.
When I saw him take that first drink, I was suspicious of that. Actually, I thought to myself, I didn't think that he was going to turn into an Ood.
Yeah.
What I was wondering was, is that tonic really simply water and they're only doing that so that he can feel better about himself?
Yeah, placebo.
As far as I knew at the time, it could have simply have been water and they were only giving that to him so that he could feel better.
Yeah, to placate him. Yeah. And then when Ood Sigma comes back, it says, "My place is by your side, sir." And I thought, ooh, uh-oh.
Exactly.
Then we had a bona fide face turn in the doctor, who was part of the Friends of the Ood and infiltrated the company for 10 years. Let's give it up for the doctor guy for his long-term plan that worked.
Yes.
Wow.
And then
I like that.
And well, then so that they could continue with the episode, yes. But now I'm going to reveal my entire plan to you. Now what are you going to do? I'm going to push you over, of course.
Into a brain that can eat.
Yes, I was actually not expecting that.
Yeah.
A brain that can eat. When I think of brains, I think of things that think, not things that eat.
Also, just like quicksand, kind of just.
Yes, basically tearing apart its bits and pieces so that it can nourish itself.
Maybe. And then when Ood Sigma turned that dude into an Ood, I thought, damn, that is some revenge. That is like, tip your cap, show some respect.
Putting oneself in somebody else's shoes to a whole new level.
Yeah, literally doing that. Like, that was slow, calculated. I was impressed. I like that. And then, as you said, my last public notes are when they said, "I think your song must end soon." And that's what I was like, ooh. It was like a dual reaction. I was like, oh, go on.
But no, must keep the suspense so that we can continue with the season.
I'm wondering, before I go into that, that's all for my notes as far as this goes. Everything else is for my patrons over on Patreon. I'm wondering if it's going to correlate to She Who Shall Not Be Named somehow coming back, and if her return breaks something and he has to sacrifice himself.
That actually is possible. I'm still trying to figure out how this is even possible,
And if that happens, that will be 2 transformations that are her fault. I don't mean that in a blame way, just something she did facilitated the Doctor having to transform. Because last time he took all of the energy out of her from the TARDIS, and it was too much. She had to turn into David Tennant. So I'm wondering if she's going to like fracture something, or because her coming back, even her showing up there to me was like coming through like a ripple in time. Like she found like a crack in time, like maybe her and Mickey found something. And
yes, it's possible. I suppose for a while I've been giving the Doctor too much credit that he says that it's impossible. But then again, he also said it's impossible for there to be another Time Lord, and well, there in that one.
Yeah.
So, all right, the Doctor doesn't literally know everything.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a way.
I don't believe the Doctor when he says things aren't possible anymore. But I did think that the way they sequestered her off into her own universe tied the bow on that. But that's my hypothesis right now in episode 3. Because I think that if she does come back, it's going to really mess some stuff up. And he might have to regenerate. He might have to do something that forces his molecular structure to start breaking down again. Or he might have to like use the power of the TARDIS, the heart of the TARDIS or something, and fix it. But in doing so, it destroys this version of him again. And I hope she has to watch it so she knows it's her fault again.
You really are going after her.
No, I'm not.
No, I mean as a whole.
No, I'm not.
That you really don't like her.
I mean, that's par for the course. I mean, that's not a big giant secret. Now, the first time, it was probably one of the few times I thought she was badass when she went Super Saiyan and just eviscerated the Daleks. Like, just, I take you and divide you. Awesome moment, awesome line. Just, yeah, probably one of the best moments in the series so far.
I wonder if she'll do that again sometime.
I'm not gonna do it. Don't try and bait me into a rant about her. All I'm saying is that
you've already done that in previous episodes.
Oh my god, ad nauseum. If she's so lovesick and forlorn and she's crossing universe, she's willing to. He told her, "You do this, the universe is like everything will just kablamo." And she said so, which if you watch back, obviously it was like so, like it was meant as a more of a lighthearted thing.
Yes, it was more about pathos.
Yeah, I took it more serious at the time. But it's just she's tempting fate. But we're going off. I'm not done. Stop. I'm done talking about it because I'm going down.
Let's talk about something else.
I'm going down a road that I just don't. We're not doing that. We're here to talk about this episode, which was grand. This is a grand episode. Donna has so far been a nice companion. I like her.
The music was beautiful.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was. Very much so. Yeah.
The song was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, both versions. The somber one that was sorrowful. It was very powerful.
Yeah.
And the later one, the one of triumph.
Yep.
I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
And to make an analogy of the show, it reminded me, for example, of the Psalms. Oh, and also, for example, in Exodus, when they sang the song at the sea of their freedom when they finally left servitude. So once again, they are making analogies. I really like that. With that singing, yes, I immediately thought of the song at the sea when, after the sea split and they were finally free, they sang about how wonderful freedom is.
That's a cool observation. Hopefully other people picked up on that as well.
I really loved this episode.
It was really good, yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add about this episode? Alrighty. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.